Hey everyone. Today, we're diving into something that so many of us deal with, anxiety. But we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to get into how it's wired in our brains, and then, most importantly, we'll look at some real, practical ways to manage it and get back to a place of calm. So, let's jump right in.
You know that feeling when your mind is just racing and you literally can't find the off switch? If that's hitting home for you, trust me, you are definitely not alone. That whole stuck on a loop feeling is a hallmark of anxiety. So today we're going to figure out why that happens and, how we can actually find that off switch.
All right, so here's the plan. We're going to start with anxiety's alarm system, what's happening inside. Then we'll get into how to rewire your anxious thoughts. After that, we'll cover how to calm your body's response in the moment, and we'll wrap up by helping you build your resilience toolkit for the long haul.
Okay, let's kick things off with our first section, anxiety's alarm system. Look, before we can manage something, we really have to understand it, right? So why do our bodies even do this? Let's take a look under the hood.
So, the most important thing to get right off the bat is this. Anxiety is not some kind of personal failing. It's actually a totally natural, built-in survival tool. It's our body's stress response, and it's literally designed to keep us safe. The tricky part, in our modern world, is that this system can get fired up by things that aren't actually life or death, like a work deadline or a tough conversation, but our body reacts as if they are.
In the command center for all this, it's a tiny part of the brain called the amygdala. The best way to think of it is like the brain's smoke detector. It's just always on, constantly scanning for any hint of danger. It's the hub for all our big emotions, but it's especially tuned into fear.
So when that smoke detector, the amygdala, goes off, it doesn't really stop to think. It can't tell the difference between, say, a real physical threat and just a super stressful meeting. It just slams the big red panic button. And that button sends out a massive distress signal that starts a chain reaction all through your body.
And that signal, it unleashes a flood of two main stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline is that instant jolt of energy, bam! And cortisol is the one that keeps you on high alert for a while. The two of them together are what make your heart pound, your breath get shallow, and all your muscles tense up. Your body is basically getting ready to either fight for your life or run for the hills.
Okay, so that's the physical side of things, the body's alarm system going haywire. But that's really only half the battle. Now let's talk about our thoughts. That running commentary in our heads can either pour gasoline on the fire or help us put it out. Let's dig into how we can start to rewire those thoughts.
There's a really great, super practical technique for this, and it breaks down into 3 simple steps. First, just notice the thought. Don't fight it, don't judge it, just see it for what it is. Step 2 is to challenge it. Ask it some questions, like, hey, is this thought really 100% true? Is there maybe another way to see this? And then the final step is to reframe it. You consciously replace it with a more balanced, more realistic thought.
And that's really the heart of it, right? The idea that by becoming aware of our thoughts and challenging negative patterns, we can begin to break the cycle of anxiety. It's not about never having an anxious thought again. That's probably not realistic. It's about changing how we react to them. Once you learn to spot them and question them, they start to lose their grip on you.
All right, we've talked about the mind, now let's get back to the body. Because when you're right in the thick of it, heart pounding, can't catch your breath, you need something that works right now. So this section is all about those in-the-moment tools to help calm your physical response.
One of the absolute best is the 4-7-8 breath. It's super simple but incredibly powerful. Here's how you do it. You breathe in quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Then you hold your breath for a count of 7. And then you exhale completely through your mouth, making a little whoosh sound for a count of 8. Seriously, even doing that just 2 or 3 times can make a huge difference when you're feeling overwhelmed.
And it's not just about breathing. Grounding techniques are another game changer. There's one called the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. You name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 you can hear, and so on. It yanks your brain right out of that spiral of worry and plants it back in the present. And of course, there's movement, things like yoga or even just a quick walk. They do more than just distract you. They actually help your body burn off all that extra adrenaline and cortisol.
Okay, so we have tools for the mind and we have tools for the body, for when we're in the heat of the moment. But what about the long game? How do we build ourselves up so we're not so easily knocked over by stress in the first place? That's what this last section's all about, building your resilience toolkit.
This is all about the small, consistent things you do. For example, journaling. It can feel a little weird at first, but it is amazing for just getting all those jumbled thoughts out of your head and onto paper. Or spending time in nature. It's scientifically proven to lower stress. Even just getting back to a hobby you love, something that brings you joy, makes a huge difference. And, of course, connecting with people you care about. That social support is just so crucial. Every one of these is like putting a little bit of calm in the bank for later.
And I know, it's so easy to think of these things as optional. Like, oh, I'm too busy for that. But I really want you to hear this. Self-care is not a luxury. It is an absolute necessity, especially when you're dealing with anxiety. It's the groundwork. It's what makes you strong and resilient, so those false alarms from your brain don't go off so often. And if you take away only one thing today, please let it be this. Anxiety is a treatable condition. It is not who you are, and it is not a life sentence. With the right strategies and support, some of which we've talked about right here, you absolutely can learn to manage it and live a rich, full, and meaningful life. So I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. What is just one small thing you can do for your own sense of calm today? It doesn't have to be some huge life-altering thing. Maybe it's just trying that 4-7-8 breath one time. Maybe it's stepping outside for 5 minutes. Whatever it is, just know that every single small step adds up. They all build that path toward feeling better. Thanks for being here, and take care of yourself.